This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Evening Update for Thursday, March 26. I'm Fenella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. Simply not true. The head of the National Union of Public Workers says the decisions for dismissed workers of the National Conservation Commission to go before the Employment Rights Tribunal was not made by the union, but by Prime Minister Frondell Stewart. Last week, the Prime Minister washed his hands of the decision to take the workers' grievances surrounding their retrenchment to the arbitration body. But Acting General Secretary Delcia Burke tells Barbados Today the Prime Minister was the one who suggested that the matter go before the tribunal during a meeting with union representatives.
We would have met with the Prime Minister. It was a Sunday morning. The union, the National Union of Public Workers, was insisting that the Prime Minister, that NCC, should go back to the drawing board since he had accepted that they did not follow Cabinet's decision when it came to the way layoffs were done. The NUPW wanted them to go back and redo the process. The Prime Minister felt that because they were setting up the Employment Rights Tribunal, that the unions should wait and go before the tribunal. The NUPW was not happy with that, but we went along with it. But the suggestion came from the Prime Minister.
Acting General Secretary Delcia Burke speaking to Barbados Today following a press conference to announce voting arrangements for the union's elections next Wednesday. In other news, the head of FAS Entertainment is urging government to reduce taxes on some of the industry's activities. Speaking during the launch of this year's Digital Reggae Festival, Director Al Gills called on the Frondell Stewart administration to consider reducing the VAT by 5% on some events to safeguard the festival.
In order to help us not allow this balancing act to tilt too much, whereby it would end up possibly in seeing this festival follow the same route as the previous jazz festival, I would like to appeal to the relevant authorities and government to think about, examine, look over, and consider the possibility of treating not only entertainment, but sporting activity and any other activity which falls under cultural activity, to look at reducing the VAT, the level of VAT now payable on all these activities from the current 17.5% to at least, or to a maximum of 10%.
Opposition Senator Wilfred Abrams is not convinced that government's 2015-2016 estimates of revenue and expenditure will work for the country. In fact, speaking in the upper chamber yesterday, Abrams described the package as simply fictitious.
I didn't come here to preach gloom and doom, Madam President. I came to call it as I see it. These estimates on a whole are deficient and they're almost fictitious, ma'am. Almost fictitious. Old-time fairy tales used to start once upon a time. There's a joke that political fairy tales start if elected, ma'am, and the LP political fairy tales start in June. We will pay the tax refunds. This year, the Four Seasons will get started. The bottom line, ma'am, is the government needs to level with its people. You cannot fix a problem if you do not acknowledge that the problem exists. We cannot correct our course, ma'am, based on fiction.
An elderly woman in St. Peter and her daughter are now homeless after fire destroyed their home in Ashton Hall early this morning. According to police, the family was unable to save any of their belongings in the blaze, which occurred around 1 a.m. It took firemen about 1 hour to extinguish the fire in the wood and wall structure. Police are investigating the incident. Meantime, police say their investigations into reports that a man was taken against his will at a drill hall beach in St. Michael last night are still ongoing. The alleged kidnapping occurred around 8 p.m. However, police spokesman David Wells says they have received no reports of any missing person to date. In sports, first we go to the National Stadium, and the first day of BSSAC competition came to a close this evening, with Springer Memorial laying a solid foundation in a bid to capture their 16th consecutive title. Also on the penultimate day, Mario Burke of Harrison College came out and showed that he is the fastest schoolboy on the island when he broke the record of the 100 meters in the under-20 boys in 10.35 seconds. Still in sports, the West Indies Cricket Board wanted no further part of him, but the England and Wales Cricket Board have welcomed him with open arms. Otis Gibson has been appointed as England's fast bowling coach for the forthcoming West Indies tour, with the chance to push his credentials for the job full-time ahead of the Ashes series against Australia this summer.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
To news from the region, the people of St. Kitts Nevis will no longer be paying taxes for food, medicine and funerals as of April 7th. Prime Minister Timothy Harris made the announcement in a national address last night. He said that Team Unity promised relief from Buddhism taxes and the high cost of living, and the administration is fulfilling its commitment. He also told the nation that low taxes are good for economic growth. And on the international scene, a building has partially collapsed following an apparent explosion, and another is on fire in New York City. Emergency services are on the scene, and they say at least a dozen people were critically injured. The area in Manhattan's East Village, close to New York University, has also been evacuated.
Just not to appear, like any kind of terrorism related or any sort of criminal act. It appears to be. Right now, the leading theory is that this was a gas explosion. There's a restaurant on the first floor of this building, and it's what's called a mixed occupancy. There's residences and there's a businesses. And at this point, they think it was a gas explosion that sort of started this. The latest numbers on injured is about 30. They expect that to climb.
And on that note, we end our Barbados Today evening updates, but we'll be back again at 7 tomorrow morning. Until then, remember, you can log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media and bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 online TV, as well as Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a pleasant evening.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? #sexy.